Okay, for this DIY materials, you need a roller, excuse me, some scissors, a wired wreath, and I got this one from the Dollar Tree. I had these on hand already, and then I bought these from Walmart, and they're just fat quarters, and as you can see, they're very patriotic, red, white, and blue, because this is a 4th of July wreath. This is actually from the brand Stitch and Sparkle, and then I have these just plain, also red, white, and blue, and this is from Waverly Inspirations. And if you go into the material section and at Walmart, they'll already have them pre-cut and ready to go. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with this DIY. Okay, so what I did with my material is from the quarter, I cut it in half and then into these wide strips of about 5. They are measuring about 5.5 inches long. And so from there, I cut them into tiny long strips along this way, and then into about, these are also about 5 inches long, and they're maybe about a little more than half an inch wide. So let me show you how I've been accomplishing that. So I've kind of just been eyeballing instead of having to measure it, because it was taking a lot of time, and it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect unless you want the strips to be exactly the same size. And then you can go in with your ruler and measure each strip, like how wide you want it and then how long you want it as well. But from the first one that I cut, I kind of just went from there because I thought it was a perfect size for what I was doing. However, I am using my scissors to start the cut, and like I said, I'm just eyeballing it to about, like I said, like a little less than an inch, so more than half an inch for sure. And then since I have the cut here, all I'm doing is grabbing my material and just tearing it, and I just pull up, and then I end up with these long strips. And from these long strips, I cut them into these tiny ones here, about, like I said, this is also measuring about 5. Yeah, this is about 5 inches long here. So, and I'm not going in with my ruler and measuring each strip here that I'm going to cut next. All I'm doing is taking my previous piece and just cutting, again, just starting the cut and then tearing it, the rest of it. And then of course it's going to look like that. So what I do is just cut that, because my intention is to have this aged look on my strip of material like this here. So that's why I've been just tearing it as opposed to cutting it. I'm sure cutting would probably be a little bit easier if we had a roll cut material, but I don't, and I think this just looks so much, I think it just adds a lot of character to your wreath, depending on the look, of course, you're going for. And I do tear off the sides just to make it a little bit more, look a little more aged. So that's just what I've been doing with my strips. Nothing, it's really nothing. Just start the cut and tear it. And then what I do just kind of cut with the scissors there so it doesn't run off too much, because it will run. If you continue to pull it, it'll continue to run off. And so yeah, so that's what I've been doing. And so I have a bunch of pre-cut strips already. I have my red that has the pattern on there. It has pattern, and then just the plain ones. And I like the plain material was achieved this old look really well, and I really like that. But I wanted to add a little sass to my wreath, you know, with the stars on there. So I decided to just buy this material with the stars on there. I think it just, you know, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's very patriotic. So that was my goal for this. And again, you know, you can just do the plain and then add some kind of stars, you know, maybe make them or buy them and then put them on there somehow. Again, it's, you know, just it's how you feel like being creative, basically. And then my blue, these are my blue strips, basically. And I'm going to show you next what I've been doing, how I've been putting them on my wreath. And the way I've been putting them on is also has a little pattern. Talk about patterns today, right? So many patterns. So what I've been doing is this has it's patterned, the pattern material, and then I went with the plain one, and then I've been alternating that. So then what I do is alternate. So I've been working myself up here, but you can also just do it side by side. But what I do is I do pattern, plain, pattern, plain, and then I'll do pattern, plain, pattern, plain. And so either way, it ends up being the same thing. So the next one would be a pattern one, and all I do is I fold it in half, like so. And then I'm just going to take it underneath here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this corner here into the loop in here. See, there's a little loop right there. That's what I'm going to do. And that's how I've been tying them on here. So, let's see. So I'm just going to grab the loop here, put this in there. And then since from it being in there, I'm just going to hold this and I'm going to pull through. And then to tighten it, you can either pull this down here and then pull up at the same time. Okay, so you have several options on how to do this wreath. You can do a full on red. See how it's measured here? So there's measurements here already, so you can do full red, white, and then blue, red, white, and blue, and then it'll end up back on red. Or you can do what I've been doing is red, white, and then I'm going to do blue here and see how that works for you also. I mean, and I've also been doing like red, white, blue of little rows of 4. Again, it's just a pattern that I kind of picked out of the blue. It really doesn't really matter. I just 5 to go with an even number, and the 4th made sense. I mean, it's a 4th of July wreath. I don't know what I was thinking, but if that was the concept of what I was thinking. But so I decided to just do 4 rows of red, white, and then blue, and I'm just following that along. I'm gonna follow that along through the wreath here. wanted to mention that not only am I just doing the pattern, you know, with each cloth, but I'm going along pattern, plain, and then when I switch colors, it's still the same thing. Pattern, it's plain pattern, and so forth and so forth. So that way it's kind of even throughout the wreath again. But I just wanted to clarify that even when I switch colors, I'm still going with the previous color pattern also. So it's pattern and then plain, pattern, plain. Okay, so here is the finished product. This is an absolutely stunning wreath. I love how patriotic it is, and I love the way it came out with just the tiny strips of red, white, and blue all along, but it has the stars, the details of the stars as well. Absolutely love it. I didn't think it would come out looking this neat, and it did. So I'm glad I went with my gut feeling. And I did want to mention that I had tons of red strips because I bought the 2 quarters. So you, like I said, you probably only need 1 quarter. You don't have to buy both unless you want to do the same thing. You can either just go with the red material that has the stars on there or pattern on there, or the plain one. Again, it's really your preference, but I had a lot, so I think I'm going to make 2 wreaths actually. So yeah, this is it. I hope you guys really like it. You can leave it as is. I was actually thinking of not sure how I want to make it look a little more neater. I was thinking of just putting this bow and then hanging it on there, and then hanging it on my door. So I'm going to play around with it in a little bit, and I'll be back and see what I came up with. So I decided to add the bow, and all I did was cut a piece of material and attach the bow to it so it hangs down from the middle. Absolutely love it. And today's encouraging word is confidence, and it's exactly that. Just walk with your head held up high, your shoulders back, and be confident in all that you do.